And Richard, how different has it been making Series 2 to Series 1?
I think Series 2 is funnier in places, but it's also darker in places as well.
And is it easier the second time around because you know everyone?
Yeah, there's a sort of familiarity with mainly the characters, because everyone sort of knows the function of the characters, and particularly with my relationship with the sheriff, for example. It enables you to develop it further because you're not kind of going over old ground. So that relationship gets really interesting. The sort of father-son relationship is very interesting from Guy's point of view, because he wants to impress the father. He wants praise and he wants approval, and he never gets it. When he fails, he gets, a big whipping, and when he succeeds, the sheriff passes it off as his own success. So he never quite, gets his approval.
And to what extent is it harder keeping the second series fresh with the storylines? Because the first one was a great success. Now there's a real challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of credit to the writers, because they have to keep, it's actually a very small amount of story that you can tell with Robin Hood, but to keep reinventing it each episode, 13 episodes of a, either Robin breaking into the castle or the sheriff going after Robin. But they've really managed it. They've been very creative, and they've got some really cracking episodes, I think.
Excellent. How physical is the role for you?
It gets physical because he's such a violent operator, and he's sort of the sheriff's weapon. He's like he's the front man, he's the master at arms, he's the one that will kind of go out and do the dirty work for the sheriff. So even though in this second series, I think Gisborne's sort of elevated sense of self means that he delegates a certain amount now, there's still times when it gets personal between him and Robin, so he actually will go all out to kind of completely crush him. So there is quite a lot of physicality, fighting, and I actually get to use a bow and arrow this series. Oh, yeah.
So how have you found the various skills you've had to learn, like the fighting and the archery?
It's good. You just have to keep on top of it physically, because you'll do like 3 or 4 weeks without doing anything, and then all of a sudden you're into a really big fight sequence. So if you don't kind of train properly, you can injure yourself. And it's the same with the horse riding as well. If you suddenly get on a horse after 3 weeks of doing nothing, you really cannot walk the next day. So you have to keep your kind of body in shape.
Well, what sort of training do you do then when you're not on set?
I kind of run and go to the gym quite a lot. So, yeah.
So it really sort of is quite a...
Yeah, well, because the script's coming quite late as well, you kind of can open a script and realise that you've got to be, seriously fighting or naked from the waist up, and you've got to be ready for it.
And how much of that did you know before you started the series?
I think pretty much in the kind of tone document that we all got before the series started, we knew it was going to be full on. Everyone came to the series knowing it was going to be that sort of action-packed adventure thing, and I think that's what attracted most people to it.
And how much horse riding had you done before?
I'd ridden for a film before, but not to the extent that we do on this, because we're on and off the horses pretty much all the time, and I've really built a relationship with my horse. Wow. My horse is also called Richie.
Really?
Yeah, we've become friends. We didn't like each other last year. He tried to throw me off a few times, but we've become good friends now.
So what's it like being back with Richie then?
It's good, yeah. I feel a bit more like he's a bit more obedient.
Mm. And you probably do more of your own stunts than some of the other actors?
Yeah. Apologies to Bill, my stunt double, but he doesn't. He looks like me from the back, but from any other angle, it doesn't really look like me. So with obviously within the boundaries of safety, I do as much as possible, mainly because the director goes, you really can't look in that direction. So.
And how hard is it doing a fight scene when you've got to go full on in character?
Actually, being in character helps you to do it. It's the repetition. You get really tired, and especially an extended sequence, you can spend 3 days doing it, and it's just knackering, and you have to really kind of take care not to get injured.
Have you had any injuries?
Luckily, touch wood, I've not really sustained anything serious.
But allegedly, talking to some of the other cast, you have caused some.
No, I haven't caused anything.
Keith Allen's tooth?
No, Keith lost his tooth because he doesn't brush his teeth, kids. Jonas injured his foot because he tripped over a twig. So that's the truth.
There seems to be a bit of rivalry between the cast over the injuries and over...
Yeah, I think everyone likes to big their injuries up, I think yeah, there's a bit of bravado that goes on. I mean, everyone's more or less, had something.
Yeah. But I suppose your biggest physical challenge was keeping cool.
Keeping cool, and also I tend to get bitten a lot. I don't know why. And maybe it's because I sweat a lot in the costume, but when I get bitten, I just sort of swell up like a giant bite.
Just by mosquitoes, not by Richie.
No, just by mosquitoes, yeah.
And
it's not so good if you get bitten here and you get a big egg arriving on your head in the middle of the scene. That's when everyone starts to panic. But, yeah.
So how did you try and cope with the heat out there?
I was very kindly sent a T-shirt with lots of sort of pockets all over it that you can slip ice packs into. So that really helped. But they were stuffing ice packs into every available space. And there's not a lot of space in that costume, but if they found a space, they were shoving an ice pack in there.
That must have been really uncomfortable then.
Yeah, it was like that, I couldn't move.
Yeah. But, what would you say the funniest moment was of the summer?
The funniest moment? I think one of the funny moments, we just shot a sequence with a character who was a kind of court jester, and we were trying to get the Hungarian background artists to find him amusing. So in order to do that, we were Keith and I were telling really quite filthy jokes that we found hilarious. But because you obviously have to go through a translator, and by the time the translator had finished translating it, it was more a kind of room full of opened mouth, dropped jaws that could not believe how filthy our jokes were. That's it.
All right, can we see that on your blog?
Yeah. I will reveal the joke at some point, but it's. Yeah.
What has been the reaction after the first series? Do you love the fact that you've behaved this badly when you go out in the street and your normal sort of civilian?
Yeah, it's so much fun to play because you get to be, all those things that you can't do, in civilized life. You can't be you have to restrain that side of you, and you can actually give it free range.
And what's it been like when you've been out on the street after the first series?
I'm actually quite lucky. I don't get recognised though. Yeah, no, it's easy.
Why is that? Just you look just different?
Yeah, I don't think I look the same. It's because the character's got quite a physical identity, unless I walk around in black leather.
Yeah. Yeah. Dungeons.
Yeah. Okay.
As regards to being in Hungary for long periods of time, people think it's a glamorous job, but you're on the set. How difficult can that be? Sort of just being away from home and being.
It's quite hard to be away for 6 months, but the work is so intense, you don't really notice that you're away until you come back and you realise you've been away for 6 months. But it does go quickly because the time's just filled.